Texas is one of the best states in the U.S. to start a business, but the process of setting up your LLC has more steps than most people expect, and if you miss one, you could end up with a rejected filing, a compliance issue, or worse, a lawsuit that wipes out your personal savings. This is a detailed tutorial on how to set up a brand new LLC in Texas. I'll start by walking you through all the important rules and requirements you need to know in order to create an LLC in Texas. And then, I'll show you a much easier way to get everything done without hiring a lawyer or an accountant. I'll show you exactly which website to visit, which buttons to click, and how to fill out and submit your application step by step. So even if you're not great with computers, you'll be able to follow along easily. Now, the first step is to choose a name for your LLC, and this is more important than most people think. Naming issues are one of the most common reasons LLC filings get rejected. So, let's make sure you get this right. Your LLC name in Texas must end with one of the following designators: Limited Liability Company, Limited Company, LTD Company, LLC, or LC. There are no exceptions. Your name also needs to be unique. It cannot cause confusion with a government agency, and it cannot be the same as or too similar to an existing business name already registered in Texas. Ideally, the name you pick should reflect what your business does and help potential customers understand what you offer. A name that's too generic or too abstract can dilute your brand and make it harder for people to find you. And don't just check the business name database. Check whether the web domain is available at the same time. There's nothing more frustrating than finding the perfect business name only to discover the website domain is already taken. Also check social media handles across Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Having a consistent name across your website and all your social platforms makes your business look far more professional and trustworthy from day one. If you're struggling to come up with a name, let ChatGPT take care of it. Just describe what your business does and the kind of feeling you want it to give people, and it'll generate a bunch of options for you to work with. And remember, your LLC name doesn't have to be your brand name. You can always register a DBA or fictitious name that sits underneath your LLC. So your LLC could literally just be your own name, and your public-facing brand could be something completely different. This takes a lot of pressure off the naming process. To check if your name is available in Texas, go to the SOS Direct website and run a name search. Just be aware that name availability searches cost around $1 each time you run one. Step 2 is to appoint a registered agent. In Texas, every LLC is legally required to have a registered agent. It's not optional. Your registered agent is the person or company that receives important legal documents on behalf of your LLC. Things like government notices, tax documents, and legal summons if someone ever sues your business. Their job is simply to accept those documents and pass them on to you. They are not responsible for any operations of your business. To qualify as a resident agent in Texas, the person must be an individual who lives in Texas or a business entity authorized to conduct business in Texas. They must have a real physical address in Texas, not a P.O. box, and they must be available to accept documents during regular business hours. You can be your own registered agent, appoint a friend or family member, or use a professional registered agent service. Professional services typically cost between $50 and $300 per year, depending on the provider. Keep in mind, if you appoint someone unreliable and they miss a critical legal notice, you could lose a court case by default simply because you weren't properly notified. So whoever you choose, make sure it's someone you can count on. For most people, using a professional registered agent service is the safest and most cost-effective option. Now, before we get into the actual setup process, let me walk you through everything that happens after you file so you know exactly what to expect. If your LLC is approved, the next step is your operating agreement. Texas doesn't legally require you to have one, but I'd strongly recommend it regardless. Your operating agreement is the internal rulebook for your LLC. It outlines ownership percentages, voting rights, how profits and losses are distributed, what happens if a member wants to leave, how new members can join, and what happens in a deadlock between members. Even if you're a solo founder, having one makes your LLC look far more legitimate to banks, investors, and lenders. It also reinforces the legal separation between you and your business, which is crucial for maintaining your liability protection. If you have business partners, this document becomes even more important. A poorly structured partnership without a solid operating agreement could result in tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees if a dispute ever arises. Getting it right up front costs a fraction of what it costs to fix it later, so don't cheap out or get lazy here. After that, you need your EIN number. Think of it as your business's social security number. You need it to open a business bank account, hire employees, file your taxes, and work with certain vendors and suppliers who require it before they'll extend you trade credit. Getting one is completely free through the IRS website at irs.gov. It takes about 10 minutes, and you'll receive your EIN instantly. Just make sure you go directly through the official IRS website, because there are a lot of third-party sites out there that will try to charge you for this, even though it's literally free from the government. Keep a copy of your EIN confirmation letter somewhere safe, because you'll need it regularly. Once you have your EIN, you need to open a dedicated business bank account right away. This is non-negotiable. Mixing your personal and business finances is one of the fastest ways to pierce your own corporate veil. If a creditor or attorney can show that you've been treating your business and personal finances as the same thing, a court can come after your personal assets to satisfy business debts. The whole point of forming an LLC was to prevent exactly that. Of course, you can go with a traditional bank like Bank of America, but I found a better option. It's called Airwallex, and they offer one of the best business bank accounts I've seen anywhere. Their free plan called Explore lets you send and receive money from over 120 different countries in over 20 different currencies, including the US and US dollars. It works perfectly well for a business in Texas, but if you ever decide to expand internationally down the road, your banking will already be set up and ready for use. The Explore plan also offers corporate cards with zero international fees, expense management, domestic and international bill payments, invoicing, and integrations with Xero and QuickBooks. You also earn about 3% on any USD you hold in your account. I'll leave a link to Airwallex in the description below. If there's a special offer right now, you will get it through that link. Now we need to talk about taxes because it's the biggest expense for most business owners. LLCs in Texas are pass-through entities by default. This means the LLC itself doesn't pay income tax. The profits pass through to you and get reported on your personal tax return. Texas has no state income tax, so unlike states like California, where you pay an $800 annual franchise tax just for having an LLC, Texas lets you keep more of your money. Your profits pass through to your personal return and you pay federal income tax on them, but there's no state income tax on top of that. However, Texas does have a franchise tax called the Texas Margin Tax, which applies to businesses with annual revenues above $2.47 million. If you're just starting out, this almost certainly won't apply to you, but as your business grows, it's worth being aware of. And as your income increases, you can elect an S corporation designation for your LLC, which can significantly reduce your self-employment taxes. It's not something you need to worry about right now, but keep it in mind as your revenue grows. Now, depending on what your business does and where it's located, you may need licenses or permits at the federal, state, and local level. The SBA website is a great resource for figuring out what applies to your specific type of business, and calling your local town clerk is one of the quickest ways to find out what's required locally. It takes 5 minutes and could save you from a compliance issue down the road. You should also think about business insurance. Depending on your business type, some forms of insurance are required by law in Texas. And even where it's not required, having the right coverage is worth it. Your LLC protects your personal assets from business liabilities, but it doesn't protect the business itself from things like property damage, lawsuits, or employee injuries. I'll make a dedicated video on this topic soon, so subscribe to my channel if you want to see that. And finally, 2 ongoing compliance requirements to stay on top of. First, Texas requires LLCs to file an annual report and pay any applicable renewal fees to keep the LLC active. Failing to do this can result in penalties or your LLC being dissolved by the state without you even knowing about it. Second, file a beneficial ownership information report with FinCEN within 90 days of formation. It's free to file, but the penalty for missing it is $500 per day. So put both of these dates in your calendar right now so you don't miss them. Now let me show you a much easier way to register your LLC in Texas without jumping through complex steps that take forever to figure out. The trick is to use an LLC formation service like Taylor Brands. They make the whole process really easy, which means you can get your LLC set up on your own without having to pay a lawyer or accountant. There's a link in the description box below so you can follow along. First, go to the Taylor Brands Texas LLC formation page and click the Get Started button. The website will ask you to enter your desired LLC name. Your business name must be unique, different from other businesses registered in Texas, and it must include one of the approved Texas designators like LLC or limited liability company. Taylor Brands automatically checks whether your name is available in Texas before moving forward. Next, you'll be asked to describe your business. Basically, what do you sell? Do you sell a service, physical products, or are you a content creator looking to put an LLC behind your media business? Pick the option that makes the most sense for your business. Now, fill out this section to describe the industry your business is a part of. This should be self-explanatory, but as a quick tip, if you're unsure, you can just describe your business to ChatGPT and then ask it to tell you what to select for each part of the application. Next, Taylor Brands will show you different packages to choose from. Since we're trying to set up an LLC today, pick the LLC formation option and continue. Now select business name and click Next. Enter your first and last name and a valid email address, and then make password and click Continue. Now you'll see the option to get your EIN number. As I mentioned, an EIN is extremely important for your business. It's required to open a business bank account, file taxes, hire employees, and manage your company professionally. Select Get My EIN to protect my identity and click Next. Now on this page, you'll see the LLC Compliance Service option. This service helps ensure your business stays compliant with state regulations by handling important requirements like annual report filings and maintaining your company's good standing. It lets you focus on growing your business while the compliance tasks are managed for you. Select Keep My LLC Compliant and click Next. Now you'll be asked about creating an operating agreement. An operating agreement is a very important legal document that establishes the rules, ownership structure, responsibilities, and management of your business. Unless you have a specific reason for not having one, select Get My Operating Agreement and click Next. After that, you'll see the banking section, where they ask whether you already have a business bank account or would like to open one. If you decide to go with Airwallex or some other business bank account, just click I don't need an account and click Next. Now you should be on the Checkout and Review page. Make sure you look through it carefully to make sure all the information is correct. Spending a couple of minutes double-checking everything can save you from annoying revisions later on. Once everything looks good, continue to the payment section. You can pay through PayPal or a regular debit or credit card, whatever works for you. Once you complete the payment, your LLC application will be submitted successfully. Make sure to check your email regularly for any updates from Taylor Brands. If you followed all the steps as I showed here, you should have your Texas LLC application ready to go in just a few minutes. Airwallex already has a free plan, and I'm working on getting you guys a special discount with Taylor Brands as well. If I manage to lock one in, I'll update the link in the description, so make sure to use that link if you want to save some money. Have a nice day, and see you in the next video.